Welcome back. Wild horses are an iconic sign of the American Western Front, and they're known for their strength and their beauty, but many might know that there are dangers that these animals face.
And not only from other predators, but from humans. This is an issue explored in depth in the documentary Wild Beauty, Mustang Spirit of the West. The filmmaker Ashley Avis, a local, joins us now, a native, I should say, because you've gone on to LA for the filmmaking career, back for the Sunscreen Film Festival. Congratulations on that and on the movie.
Thank you so much. It's really wonderful to be back home here in St. Pete.
So tell us why you decided to make this movie and what we will see when we watch it.
Sure. So I grew up riding horses here locally, and I fell in love with the world of horses, and eventually I got the opportunity to write and direct Black Beauty, which is on Disney Plus, starring Kate Winslet and Mackenzie Foy, and a lot of families around the world have seen that movie. And so in our reimagining of Black Beauty, we made Beauty a wild horse, and that's what took me down this path to understand what wild horses in our country are going through. And I felt such a sense of guilt that as a horse person in my youth, I didn't know what was going on. And that made me realize how many people don't know that wild horses even exist in our country and that wild beauty needs to be protected. And right now they're being rounded up and torn away from their families and placed into government holding facilities. And some of these places, I mean, we've been around all across the American West, and some of these places don't even have shade. And so it begs the question as to how we're treating a federally protected animal in our country in this cruel, antiquated manner. So we had to do something about it.
Why does it seem like there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to wild horses? Again, I think that most people don't really assume horses in the wild. We just kind of think of ones that are out in barns and things like that, but they're not overpopulated. They have a safe place. It's just that we're coming in on it.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it's true. There is this misinformation campaign that's being very well done, and it's being perpetuated by the Bureau of Land Management. But the people that want to protect wild horses and other species like wolves and mountain lions are up against a big opponent, and that is the cattle lobby. A lot of this is about a fight over land, and there's a massive tax subsidy that's given to cattle ranchers to graze their livestock on our public land. But as the taxpayers, we should have a say as to what's going on our public land. And most people, when you talk about them, they want to see wild horses and wildlife out there, not going out with their families in an RV to see cattle everywhere. Right. And so there is the spread of this misinformation that a lot of people have heard, that horses are overpopulated or starving, and it's just not true. And over the 5 years that we made this documentary, we just want to show people so that they can have their own opinion in seeing that that is false. Over
5 years, you must have seen a lot, you must have discovered a lot, many of it disturbing, I'm sure. Would you mind sharing some of that with us?
Sure. It was a merger between profound beauty and some of the most spectacular days that we've been out there with the horses, but it was also very emotionally harrowing at times, going to the roundups and seeing. I say we don't show the worst that we saw in the documentary so that people of all ages can see it, but watching a flight animal stampeded by a low-flying helicopter should not be happening in our modern day West. Horses that are a day old should not be chased by a helicopter. It's unbelievable that that's allowed to occur today, and that the Bureau of Land Management considers helicopter roundups humane, which we, of course, vehemently disagree with. We also, what is happening too is with the wild horses that are rounded up and they're up for adoption, you can adopt a wild horse for $25 in some states, and some duplicitous people will purchase them, keep them for a year, get the title, and flip them to slaughter. And that is unimaginable. So one of the hardest things we did, we actually went undercover wearing button cams. I was with my little brother, who's a young producer, and my father. We went to Texas, and we actually went to the auctions and filmed some of that undercover, which was very, very difficult. And we show some of that in the film.
Wow. I mean, my mind is just blown. I know that this is great, that it's at a lot of film festivals around the country, including right here in our area, but did I hear that there's also a screening possibly going for Congress?
There is. So we're going to be doing a screening in June for Congress, and we're really excited to get this in front of the lawmakers that need to see what's going on so that they can know and try to help us make a difference.
Bravo. And we will also get to see it from the comfort of our own home very soon, correct?
Correct. May 12th, the film is finally coming out, and it'll be on iTunes, Amazon Prime, Spectrum, a variety of cable networks, and it's available for pre-order right now on iTunes.
What would you tell viewers to do or after they see the film? So how can we help?
Absolutely, thank you. So we have a nonprofit called the Wild Beauty Foundation. We have a lot of information on there for people to educate themselves, and that's also child friendly as well for young voices who we think are a really important part of the fight. And then we're asking people who are moved by the issue to post our trailer for Wild Beauty on social media with the hashtag #IStandWithWildHorses. We're trying to create a social media campaign as the film is coming out, just to create that buzz to cut through the noise, because there's a lot going on in the world, but this is our small corner of it that we're trying to protect.
Ashley, I love what you're doing. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing that with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And to learn more about the film and ways you can help protect wild horses, remember you can visit wildbeautyfoundation.org.
And up next, how you can make the difference in the life of a veteran through the help of a dog. DayTime will be right back.